Chapter 22. This chapter talks about the town of Orrington, Maine. And there's a Route 15, that connects various towns. And on a summer night of June 2015, there was like a witness leaving a gas station, and he was headed north on Route 15, and then he saw an object in the sky that was triangular in shape, and it had an unusual color, teal color. And the encounter didn't last long, like less than a minute. So it was a triangular object, and it had like a rounded bottom. And eventually the craft flew out of sight below the tree line. And the witness was amazed by this. And after the sighting, he pulled over his truck to try to see if he could find the object again. He continued driving, but he saw nothing. And he was very shocked and surprised by this. So he went back home, grabbed his binoculars, and returned to the location of the first sighting. Then he parked his truck and began walking the railroad tracks, hoping that he would see the object again. And he wasn't sure what it was. That maybe it was like a drone or something like that, but there doesn't seem to be anybody operating a drone nearby. And he just thought that the color of the craft was odd. And then the chapter starts talking about another encounter that was reported in the Bangor Daily News in June of 1978. And the title of the article is Object in Sky Upsets Orrington Woman. And this also takes place on Route 15. And it was kind of like an odd encounter. So this woman was driving, and then she felt that she was like jolted by a pulse of electricity. And then she sees a really big ball of light. And this ball of light was emitting a lot of heat. And something crazy happened, like the radio in the car went crazy, and the headlights of the car stopped working while she was driving. And the red ball flew out of sight. And because the headlights of the car went out, she drove off the road into a ditch. She was shaken by this whole experience, and she started to walk to nearby homes asking for help. But she found that she couldn't awaken anybody. And she was very frightened by all of this. So she began hitchhiking to try to make it back home. And the person that picked her up was very sympathetic, but they said that they did not saw the ball, the UFO. So she eventually reported this encounter to the FAA, and the Bangor Police Department. And there was another sighting in Frenchman's Bay, which is also in Maine. And there was like a witness that saw like a craft. And she was thinking that maybe it was like a cruise ship, because many ships occupy the harbor during the summer. And she was not sure. So she decided to check with the harbor master the next morning, and she learned that there were no cruise ships in the harbor the previous night. And this object was also teal color. And yeah, there were no ships in the harbor the previous night, so it could have possibly been a UFO. And then there was another encounter on January 13, 2017. And this was a MUFON, and the name of the encounter was 2 low flying triangles reported over Maine. And the witness went to a birthday party for a friend. And when she got there, all the partygoers decided to go to Walmart. So after they left Walmart, they were going back to Orrington on a specific road. And they saw like red lights down the road above the dam on the lake. They thought that because there was like a nearby airport, that maybe it was an incoming airplane. And when the witness saw this light, it kind of like it sparked a previous memory of another UFO encounter the previous year. And while she was telling the story, the light that they were looking at made a drastic change in altitude and then flew parallel to the vehicle. And they describe it as a triangular silhouette. And they pull over the car to watch this object and try to record it, but the video came out too dark. They rolled out the windows to see if they heard like a noise coming from the object, but they heard nothing. The object continued to move, and they started the car to try to follow it, but as they rounded the corner, they saw a second larger triangular object, and everybody was shocked. And that's pretty much the end of the chapter.